shall we begin?
Let the games begin.
All right.
A new age has begun. An age of freedom.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Get to the chopper!
This is going to be quite a ride.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to the Movie Pit Podcast. I am your host, Christian. This is, like I mentioned, the Movie Pit Podcast, where we talk about all the big breaking movie news items of the week. We also talk about the movie trailers that came out this week, and boy, do we have quite a few of those. And we'll talk about the movies that are coming out in theaters and streaming for your viewing pleasures this week. Although this week, at least from what I could find, there's only big movies coming out in theaters. So if there is something in streaming, I apologize. I did not see it, but we'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So hello, everybody. Welcome to the Movie Pit. I am Christian, like I mentioned earlier. Hello. We have a lot to get to this week, so I'm not gonna, sit here and do nothing. So let's just get right to the movie news items of the week. As always, we're gonna start off with trailer talk.
Coming soon to theaters.
Like I mentioned, we got some big trailers. Before we get to the big trailers, I do quickly want to mention some of the other trailers that came out this week. There was a new trailer for Clifford the Big Red Dog. Remember, that movie was supposed to come out later this year, and then it got pulled from the release schedule because Paramount was like, nope, we believe in this movie. We want this movie to come out and people to see it. And then they put it back on the release schedule, and it's going to come out. I believe it's coming out on Paramount Plus on November 10th. So you can go check that out if you're, if you have kids or nieces or nephews and you're like, I want to watch Clifford the Big Red Dog. There you go. So that's coming out. There was a new trailer for that. There was a trailer for Zeros and Ones, which is a new movie with Ethan Hawke where he plays twins. It looks like a thriller. That's also down below. That's going to get a limited theater release and video on demand release. So if you want to go check that out, you can. That's down below. We'll talk about another Ethan Hawke movie in a little bit. The other quick trailer I want to talk about is the first trailer for the reimagining of Home Alone, which is called Home Sweet Home Alone. A lot of people had a lot of thoughts about this one online. Archie Yates, he plays the best friend to the kid in Jojo Rabbit. He's taking over the character. He's playing Max Mercer. So he's not playing Kevin, he's playing someone else. He gets left home alone where his family's off to Tokyo. Of course, Max then has to fend off and defend his home from two individuals who intend on stealing an expensive heirloom. Ellie Kemper, Rob Delaney, Ally Mack, Pete Holmes, Chris Parnell, and Kenan Thompson all star in the movie. That will premiere on Disney Plus on November 12th. If you want to go see the trailer for that, like I mentioned, a lot of thoughts on that one online. And then the final quick trailer I want to talk about is the new Netflix film called Bruised. This is directed by Halle Berry. This is apparently a passion project for Halle Berry. So I can't remember. I put here on my notes that it's her directorial debut. I don't know if that's actually true or not. It feels like it is. So I'm just going to say it is. And if I'm wrong, I'll obviously, come back and say that I'm wrong about that. But Barry will star in the movie, not co-star. She will star in the movie as well, as what I wanted to say. She plays a former MMA fighter and star who gets another chance at stardom while also having to raise her estranged child. The movie will be in select theaters on November 12th and then go on to Netflix on November 24th. This looks okay. I know that Netflix was really pushing this movie earlier this year, where they released that massive trailer about how there's going to be a new movie on Netflix every week. Or like a big movie every other week. So this was part of that campaign, and now we're finally getting our looks at it. I'm pretty sure they've been done with this for a little bit, but we're finally getting a trailer. It looks fine. It looks like a kind of an underdog story as well. Not really any from the trailer wise anyway. Not anything we haven't seen before. At least except with the exception this is a woman character finally doing this. We usually see a lot of guy characters doing this, so that will obviously add a different layer to everything going on. So I'm still kind of excited to see this. So there's a new trailer for that. But let's get to the big trailers of the week. First one is for the first trailer for the new George Clooney directed movie, The Tender Bar. That will come out, and that came out, and it looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty good. The film is based on a memoir by J.R. I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right. Mohringer. I don't know if The H in there is silent. So I'll say Moeringer. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Which Ty Sheridan, aka Cyclops from the new X-Men movies. I know he's been in other stuff, but for some reason, Cyclops is the thing that pops in my mind. He will play the author himself in the movie. The film also stars Ben Affleck as Moeringer's Uncle Charlie, who owns a bar and acts as JR's father figure for him since his father was not around. The movie will also follow Moeringer in his youth and going to college, where he decides to become a writer. I really like the trailer for this. Christopher Lloyd's also in the movie. He plays the grandfather. Lily Rabe is in there. I think most people probably know Lily Rabe from the American Horror Story series franchise, or TV series franchise. It seems like a franchise now. But she's in there. She plays the mother. It's written by William Monahan, who did the script for The Departed and a bunch of other movies. But I always like the fact that he's wrote The Departed and now he's doing this. Kind of like that little contrast there. Clooney, this is his 8th movie he's directed. This is only his 2nd movie that he's directed and not starred in. I just find that rather interesting. But I really like the trailer. I thought it's a really nice trailer. It's, you know, I know it's probably going to hit home for some people and stuff like that. And Ben Affleck playing the uncle. Can we just like agree that Ben Affleck, after just seeing the trailer, I think we can agree that Ben Affleck is kind of all our uncle now, because that's kind of what it feels like. It's just like the relationship between him and JR Moeringer in the movie, in the trailer at least, it seems really genuine, and it seems really cool, and just seems like, you know, this, yeah, he's his uncle, but he really is kind of the father figure, and we kind of see that in the trailer, so I think that's really cool. I really like the trailer. I don't know, I just really like the trailer. I thought it was very heartwarming. So The Tender Bar will play in select theaters on December 17th before opening up nationwide on December 22nd. But if you want to watch it for free in the comfort of your own home, you can wait until January 7th of next year when it hits Prime Video. All right, so let's move on to the next trailer. Because it is spooky season, we got a lot of horror movie trailers. This one is for the first trailer and the new movie by Scott Derrickson, who of course did Sinister and Doctor Strange and The Exorcism of Emily Rose. This new movie called The Black Phone. The trailer came out, and this looks also very, very good. The film is centered on a small town with a horrific killer, played by Ethan Hawke, in the movie, lurking around in a secret unnoticed by the residents, who kidnaps and ultimately murders children. His latest victim is Finley Shaw, an introverted but quick-thinking 13-year-old boy who was abducted by the mysterious killer and confined to a soundproof basement with only a mattress and a disconnected phone. To his surprise, the phone begins to ring, and Finley is connected to the voices of the previous victims. Together, they devise a plan to escape from the killer. There is also Finley's friend in the movie, played by Violet McGraw, who can see things in her dreams that helps and from the trailer, it eventually helps the police to try to find Finley and the killer. There's also the killer, who, at least from the trailer, makes it seem like he knows about the phone, or at least suspects something about the phone, or just, you know, is just crazed, because obviously he goes around, he's a kid killer, just goes around, doesn't want the kid to do anything that, you know, he doesn't tell him to do. But the way they kind of cut it in the trailer makes it maybe seem like he knows what's going on, maybe not, who knows. But the movie is based on a short story by Joe Hill, of course, is the son of Stephen King. It is written by Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill, who both of them, of course, did Sinister and Doctor Strange together. I think they did another one together. I can't remember what it was. It might have been, was it Deliver Us From You? I don't think that was Cargill. I don't know. But I know they did Sinister and Doctor Strange together. They've worked together before, and they're actually very good friends. And that will come out in theaters on February 4th, 2022, so next year. I really like this trailer. The Black Phone opened recently at Fantastic Fest, and it got a lot of rave reviews. And people have been, you know, slowly been watching it with like screenings and event screenings and stuff. Everyone's saying it's good. Pretty much everyone is saying it's good. It's really cool, and based off the trailer, it looks really good. It looks like we do see some Super 8 footage in the trailer, so if you're a fan of Sinister, then, you know, you'll get that Super 8 footage again. But yeah, I mean, Derrickson and Cargill, very, very good team together, and you add you know, something like Joe Hill into the mix, and you add Ethan Hawke again, who's looks like he's not hamming it up, but it looks like he is it is a very kind of different turn of Ethan Hawke and kind of a more scarier Ethan Hawke than we're used to seeing. I think that'd be really cool. So I'm really looking forward to The Black Phone. Again, just hearing all the positive feedback the movie has gotten so far from Fantastic Effects, which albeit it's more of a, genre heavy film festival. So a lot of the fans are going to be, all on board on that. But still, getting the reaction it's gotten so far is just, it's overwhelming and it's really positive. And a lot of times, especially for genre fans, Fantastic Fest is a good gauge to know how a movie's going to do with fans who couldn't make it to Fantastic Fest. If The Black Phone is any indication, or at least the reaction to The Black Phone is any indication, I think we're in for another hit from Derrickson and Cargill and co. So I'm excited for that. But the final trailer we're going to talk about this week is a big trailer, made a lot of waves when it came out, and I'm super excited for the movie now. I was cautiously, just keeping it at a distance, but now with the trailer out, I'm on board now. And that is the 5th installment for Scream. They finally released the first trailer, and it does look very good. It is directed by Radio Silence, Matthew Bernatelli Oplin, I think that's how I pronounce his name. I apologize if that's not. And Tyler Gillette, who of course did Ready or Not, which was also very good. The 5th installment will bring back the original cast members, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette, and Scream 4's Marley Sheridan, who played Deputy Judy Hicks. She's also back. The synopsis reads like this. 25 years after a streak of brutal murders shocked the quiet town of Woodsboro, a new killer has donned the ghost face mask and begins targeting a group of teenagers to resurrect secrets from the town's deadly past. The trailer also makes it seem like Ghostface, who will once again be voiced by Roger L. Jackson, of course also coming back, which is very cool, is killing people related to the legacy characters, which I'm interested in seeing how that works, because you don't know who they're related to, obviously in the trailer or anything like that, but it's just very interesting that the killer is killing people who are related to the original characters, the original survivors, or it could be just a ploy by Radio Silence to be like, we're giving you one thing and then we're going to give you something else in return. Who knows? But the new cast members, at least the main ones here, are Melissa Barrera from In the Heights. Looks like she's playing the new Sydney of these characters. Jack Quaid from The Boys. I think he's playing the boyfriend of the movie. Jenna Ortega from The Babysitter, Killer Queen, which was the second one. She was apparently also in the Netflix series You. I have not gotten around to watching that, so I apologize, but I guess she's in there, who looks like she's not making it in the movie because she is the person that's getting killed in the beginning of the trailer. Dylan Merriman is also in there from Goosebumps and 13 Reasons Why and Don't Breathe, amongst many other characters as well. A lot of newcomers as well on the cast, but I think those are the ones that people will probably recognize the most. I do kind of like that Dewey, at least in the trailer, it looks like he's taking things more seriously. He's not really a goof anymore. It looks like he's super serious. You get that shot of him potentially hunting Ghostface when, he's emptying his gun and he's in the hospital. He's also kind of maybe playing the new Randy, maybe, because he's giving the characters the rules of surviving a horror movie. So I kind of like that part. I like seeing Ghostface again is just really cool. There's that great shot of him when he's turning in the hospital. It looks like it's at the hospital anyway, where he's kind of turning, and I'm assuming he's looking at Dewey. So because the way those two hallways look is very similar. But I'm really excited for this. I was very cautiously keeping it at a distance, excited because it was the guys who did Ready or Not, and I'm really excited. I really loved Ready or Not that when it came out that year, and I've been looking forward to anything they've been doing. I like the fact they're bringing back the original cast members. People have been kind of dissecting the trailer a little bit, and they're suggesting that maybe some of the legacy characters are finally not going to make it out of this movie, which could be the case. After reading that and then seeing the trailer again, I can kind of see, maybe what they were talking about. I won't bring it up on here because, I don't want to, ruin the experience, but yeah, there is that. But I'm really excited for this. I was very cautiously keeping it at a distance, but now I'm all in on the Scream 5, or just Scream in general. franchise. So I'm excited for that. So Scream will open up in theaters next year on January 14th. We will definitely be talking more about Scream in the future, so you can look forward to that. Okay, so those are all the trailers that came out. If any other trailers come out, I will link them down below in the description/show notes area, so go check those out if you haven't watched them yet, or if you want to watch them all over again. They're all right there, one nice little space for you guys. All right, let us move on to the movie news items of the week. All right, so let's start off with some quick fire movie news items. If you're new to the podcast, this is basically where I just mention some movie news items that I think are noteworthy, but are pretty much self-explanatory. Don't really have too much to say. A lot of time it's because it has people connected to the project that I'm excited for. But this one in particular is rather interesting because I still know that, we're really hoping that he makes a comeback. M. Night Shyamalan has announced the official title and new release date for his next movie. The movie will be titled Knock at the Cabin and will come out on February 3rd of 2023. We don't know anything about the movie at all, but we can probably assume that it will be a horror movie, or at least horror adjacent. Of course, Shyamalan had Old open earlier this year with some mixed results. So we'll have to wait and see if Knock at the Cabin is good Shyamalan, okay Shyamalan, or bad Shyamalan. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But there you go. The next quick fire movie news item is the comedy Mafia Mama, which will be directed. I just can't say that Mafia Mama. I just can't say it without a smile on my face. Which will be directed by Catherine Hardwicke, who directed Twilight, has added Toni Collette and Monica Bellucci to the cast. The movie tells the story of a normal suburban American mom, Christine, played by Toni Collette, who inherits her family's mafia empire in Italy after her grandfather passes away. Christine has been leading an unfulfilling life, dealing with a sexist boss and a son who is beyond ready to get out of his parents' house and leave for college. To add to the drama, Christine has discovered that her musician husband, played by Rob Hubel in the movie, has been cheating on her with a groupie. She then receives an unexpected phone call from Bianca, played by Bellucci, who was her grandfather's most trusted advisor. The call sets Christine on an abrupt yet exciting course to take over the family business. Production will begin sometime next year and will reunite Collette and Hardwicke, who worked together on the 2015 comedy Miss You Already. I am a huge fan of Toni Collette, also a huge fan of Monica Bellucci. So we stand with them. We stand, as the kids say, here on the podcast with those. So I just wanted to mention that. And the final quickfire movie news item is Steve Buscemi. Yes, that's Steve Buscemi. Has an upcoming feature film called The Listener, and that has wrapped production. It is also going to star Tessa Thompson, and only star Tessa Thompson, or at least only star her on screen. Thompson will play Beth, a helpline volunteer who fields calls from all types of people who face their own struggles. As a year goes by, more calls come in, overwhelming Beth as she does not know how each scenario will play out. Soon, Beth's own story is unraveled that it becomes clear as why she became a helpline volunteer to begin with. There is no release date for The Listener just yet. I kind of like these kinds of movies. I know Netflix has The Guilty up right now on Netflix with did I say Netflix twice? Anyway, with Jake Gyllenhaal, which I do want to check out very soon, although I'm kind of in the horror movie kick right now, so I'm kind of saving that one for next month. But yeah, The Listener, this seems kind of cool. I love Tessa Thompson. I think Tessa Thompson's great. I think she could knock it out of the park, obviously depending on, what kind of, story they're giving her and how she handles it. But I think she can, I was mentioning like before, I kind of stumbled on myself. I kind of like when, there is kind of these self-contained stories and like there's only like one person on camera kind of movies. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on the actor, and there's not a lot of actors that can probably do that. And I think maybe Tessa Thompson could be one of those actors. Again, it just depends on kind of what they're giving her script-wise. But there was Ryan Reynolds in Buried, which I know a lot of people didn't watch, but I really loved that movie. And it's just him. It's him in a box, buried underneath the ground, and it's him trying to figure out how to get out. So that one was really cool. If you haven't watched it, there was also a movie called Lock with Tom Hardy, where it's just really him in a car driving, talking to people on the phone. And if he sounds really weird in that movie, it's not because he's trying to do a voice. Apparently he was sick during production, so they just put it into the movie that he was sick. But I really love that one too, and I'm really interested in, again, seeing The Guilty. Although from what I hear, there are other people that he interacts with, Jake Gyllenhaal being the he. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for this. I'm excited to see what happens with this. I just wanted to mention that because we stand with Tessa Thompson here on the Movie Pit podcast as well. All right, so those are the quick fire movie news items. Let's move on to the big movie news items of the week. This is an update from the movie news item that we talked about last week. It's also a very big update considering what can happen from it. The president of the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, or the IATSE, Matthew Loeb, announced this week that the organization, the union pretty much, will indeed go on strike on Monday, October 18th, if a deal is not reached. We talked about last week how there was a unanimous vote by this union to go on strike on all Hollywood productions, pretty much for better working conditions. And it seems that they finally set a date, and it's for Monday. And this means that over 60,000 workers will not go to work and halt production on Hollywood as a whole, movies, TV, all of it. The strike is for the crew members, can get better working conditions, which also includes adequate salaries, well-defined working hours, assured times of meal breaks, and rest time on weekends and holidays. Basic things that you want if you're employed by someone in any kind of job. Loeb did go on Instagram to say this kind of damning piece of information, which if you want to read the whole statement of the strike, you can go to the Instagram page for the union, for this union page. It kind of, puts it all out there. But this little piece is very, very damning considering what's going on, saying, quote, "The pace of bargaining doesn't reflect any sense of urgency." That's wow. And then he added, "Without an end date, we could keep talking forever. Our members deserve to have their basic needs addressed now." So it doesn't sound like talks are going very good. And it does look that they're going on a strike. And the hope, obviously, by Loeb and the union is that they get something, they get a deal done before Monday. But if not, it will be a very interesting time in Hollywood, because if that strike goes through, everything stops. And that is a very, very big deal. And I don't know if they're going to make a deal. I mean, obviously, from the way Loeb puts it, it seems like they're not even taking, it seriously. And this is the first time that this union is going on strike. I mentioned it last week. This is the first time in their over 100 years. It was like 128 years, something like that they've been around. They have never gone on strike. They've threatened to go on strike, and I guess, there have been times where they, come to an agreement of some sort. But this is the first time that a unanimous vote in this very long, luxurious career time that the union has been around, this is the first time that a unanimous vote has happened to go on strike. And that's a very big deal. So obviously I will keep an eye on that, because that can be a very big movie news item whenever it happens. So we'll see what happens come Monday. But yeah, that's gonna be a kicker. In other big news, obviously this is the big movie news items of the week. I don't give you guys crappy movie news items, but the other big news of the week, it's the end of an era upon us over at Disney, as Alan Horn is retiring as Chief Creative Officer of Disney Studios Content. Horn will officially leave the position at the end of the year on December 31st. Horn is very well liked among producers and directors and people that he works with, and was a massive grab for Disney after Warner Brothers surprisingly let him go as president and COO, Chief Creative Officer, in 2011 after his 12 years there and working on massive projects like Batman Begins, The Shawshank Redemption, the Harry Potter franchise, and for TV, he did work for Seinfeld, which just, again, so much work that he did over there, they just kind of dropped him all of a sudden. Even before Warner Brothers, he started his entertainment career in 1973 at Embassy Communications, and then in 1987 he went on and co-founded Castle Rock Entertainment and was chairman there until 1999 when he left to go to Warner Brothers. Horn then joined Disney in 2012 and became chairman from June 2012 to May 2019 before he became co-chairman and CEO with Alan Bergman, who then took over the position full-time in December last year when Bergman left the content chairman position. Horn, of course, stabilized the studio after a series of flops and misfires, and of course helped out with acquiring Marvel and Lucasfilm and 20th Century Fox, and of course, paved the way for Disney Plus as a whole. In his 9 years at Disney, Disney has set several box office records. And you can say that maybe he's not, completely attached to this, but he is COO, which means he has a lot of, again, creative control over a lot of things that are going on. So in 2016 and 2018, Disney surpassed $7 billion at the box office. And in 2019, they surpassed $11 billion. They are the only major studio, to have reached that accomplishment more than once. So that's good for them. 20 movies at Disney surpassed the $1 billion mark globally. 12 of those are in the top 20, and 5 of them are in the top 10 worldwide releases of all time. That includes the biggest domestic release of all time in Star Wars The Force Awakens, and the second biggest global release of all time in Avengers Endgame, as well as the biggest animated releases of all time domestically and globally in Incredibles 2 and Frozen 2, respectively. Domestically, Incredibles 2, globally, Frozen 2. Horn did release a statement. I'm going to do my best to read what he says because it's a very good statement. It's very touching as well. Saying, quote, "It has been my great privilege and pleasure to be able to spend the last 50 years helping creative people tell stories that move, entertain, and connect audiences around the world, and a dream come true to have the chance to do it at Disney, no less. I am deeply thankful to Bob Iger for the opportunity he gave me and to Alan Bergman for becoming an incredible partner throughout this adventure, as well as to Bob Chapek for his steady leadership during these unprecedented times. I also must recognize the extraordinary leaders of our individual studios, as well as the business teams and every single one of our fantastic team members. It's never easy to say goodbye to a place you love, which is why I've done it slowly, but with Alan Bergman leading the way, I'm confident the incredible studios team will keep putting magic out there for years to come." That is his quote. Reports are saying that there is no plans to replace Alan Horn at this time. So, again, very well respected. He's been in the business for a long time. He's retiring. He was at Disney for 12. Again, he was at Warner Brothers for another 12, and he's been in Hollywood since 1973. So, I mean, he's been around for a long time, and he's done nothing but great things. And again, he just has this great relationship with producers and directors. Everyone who has ever met him has said nice things, and I can't say a bad thing about him after hearing all those stories. So that's a pretty big deal. That's I'm sure Disney will be fine, obviously, but Alan Horn being one of those guys who you think of great leadership, Alan Horn's one of those guys. So he will gladly be missed. Obviously, he's not leaving till the end of the year, but still, that's going to be a pretty big loss for Disney once he finally gets going. We'll stick with Disney a little bit, at least, in a different kind of mindset. Is that the right word I wanted to use? That's the word I'm going with. Whatever. David Gordon Green, who has Halloween Kills opening up this weekend. Not connected to Disney. I'm just saying he has Halloween Kills coming out this weekend. But he's already looking for his next project, and it is about the building of Disneyland. Yes, Deadline reported that Green is set to direct a movie about Walt Disney's journey to building Disneyland for Disney Studios for Disney Plus. So it's going to be a Disney Plus movie. The writer of the movie will be Evan. I'm going to mispronounce his last name. I butcher his name every time we talk about him on the podcast, and I am sorry for this. Evan Spilotopoulos. That's not even close. I guarantee that's not even close. But he wrote the live-action Beauty and the Beast movie. He also wrote Snow White and the Huntsman, and he recently wrote Snake Eyes. He's writing the movie. Of course, Disneyland, for those who don't know, opened on July 17th, 1955, and was the only Disney theme park built under the supervision of Walt Disney himself. He bought the 160-acre site in 1953 and then broke ground in 1954. If you want to know any more about the building of Disneyland, Disney Plus, I believe, does have a documentary about the building of that, so you can go watch that on there. Not sponsored by Disney Plus. I'm just saying they probably do have they do have that. And next up, the final movie news item of the week, at least at the time of this recording, also related to Disney in a way. It's related to Marvel. After teasing the character in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Adam Warlock will appear in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and will be played by Will Poulter from the Maze Runner movie, We're the Millers, Detroit, Black Mirror, The Bandersnatch. In Midsommar, he can currently be seen in the Hulu series Dope Sick. So he's playing Adam Warlock. We don't know anything about the plot or story for the third outing, but James Gunn will return to write and direct the movie, and yes, presumably everyone will come back for the third movie as well. Chris Pratt, Dave Bautista, Karen Gillan, Maybe Zoe Saldana. Maybe, we don't know. Bradley Cooper, of course, voicing Rocket, and everyone else. Palm Clementov as Mantis. We'll see. For those who don't know, Adam Warlock is from the comics. He was created by scientists who were trying to create the perfect being, and there is a lot more to his character. If you want, I'd recommend you go check out his history and stuff like that, because it's pretty cool. He is a very important character in the MCU. So much so that the character is said to be a fan favorite of James Gunn and Kevin Feige, of course, the man behind Marvel Studios. And Feige has said that Adam Warlock will play an important role in the cosmic side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So there is that. Adam Warlock, again, was teased in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in one of the post-credit scenes with Aisha, played by Elizabeth Debicki. Maybe she'll come back. Maybe the gold woman, the one that all dressed in gold. So that'll be interesting to see. Production is expected to start in November, but we do have a holiday special for the Guardians of the Galaxy coming out on Disney Plus, which Gunn has teased, saying that the special will introduce one of the quote greatest MCU characters of all time. Could it be the first appearance of Adam Warlock? Could Gunn just be being like, yeah, we're just going to introduce someone else? We don't know. Maybe. We'll see. We'll have to see on that. I don't think there's a release date for the holiday special just yet, so we'll have to wait on that one. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 currently does have a release date for May 5th, 2023. Eagerly awaiting to see what that happens. Will Poulter would not have been my first choice for Adam Warlock, to be honest. Although, if you ask me who I probably wanted to play Adam Warlock, I probably would not be able to give you an answer, to be honest. But Will Poulter probably would not have been on my list, but he is very, very good. He's very, very good. He's good at playing the sympathetic character. He's good at playing the slimy character. He's good at playing a bad guy. I don't really ever think he's played like a good guy in anything he's been in. I mean, besides like comedies and stuff, but whatever. The goofball, like in We're the Millers. But yeah, Will Poulter's very good. And you give him something, you give him good material, he's going to knock it out of the park. So I'm excited to see kind of how he brings that character to life. Obviously, Will Poulter, I don't even know how old he is, but he's on the young side. Obviously, he'll probably be sticking around for a long time if he's going to be playing that character. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do with Adam Warlock. And if he is the key, quote unquote, or at least an important part of the cosmic side of the MCU, that will be very interesting to see as well. He might be popping up in a lot more things, so we'll see about that. So I'm excited for that. Let's see what happens with that. So all right, so those are all your movie news items, at least at the time of this recording. Obviously, if anything else big drops, you can check out the Twitter page. I will drop it up on there. Let's move on to the movies coming out in theaters this weekend for all your viewing pleasures.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
All right. So like I mentioned, I couldn't find anything that was coming out on streaming. If something is coming out on streaming, I apologize. You know, the streaming list is always a little hard to find, or at least like a definite list of stuff. I know Netflix does. I think Netflix does have a horror movie coming out. I think it's a foreign one. I think that's why I didn't put it on my list. Not that I don't like foreign horror movies. I think I saw it and I was like, I can't remember if that was what it was, but yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the movies that are coming out in theaters this weekend for all your viewing pleasures. The first one is The Last Duel. This is, of course, directed by Ridley Scott. It is based off a book by Eric Yeager, which itself is based off a true story about the last official duel to the death. The movie stars Jodie Comer as someone who accuses, as a woman, obviously, who accuses Adam Driver's character of taking advantage of her while her husband, played by Matt Damon, is away. Upon returning and finding out, Damon's character requests a duel to the death, all while Driver's character denies it, and Comer's character tries to deal with this whole ordeal becoming public knowledge and scrutiny by those who think that she is lying. The movie co-stars Ben Affleck. The reason I don't say any of the characters' names is because they're all French characters' names, and I have a hard enough time, saying names in general. So, but yeah, I've been looking forward to this. I know it was a really big deal when, it came out that Ridley Scott was going to do a movie with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, because obviously we all know about the friendship of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. They don't really do a lot of movies together anymore. And then this one came out and it was going to be a Ridley Scott movie. And then, Jodie Comer came into the mix. And then it was going to be this period piece about knights. And then Ben Affleck was originally going to play the Adam Driver role, but then scheduling conflicts got in the way. So Adam Driver came in and Ben Affleck took another role that was probably meant for someone else, and they were just like, just go ahead and take it. But yeah, this looks good. I am looking forward to this. I don't know if I'll watch it in theaters. I'll probably watch it when it finally hits video on demand. But I am excited to watch this. I do want to watch this because it looks very good. You got Matt Damon in there. You got Ben Affleck in there. Everyone's talking about their facial hair. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but whatever. And then you got Jodie Comer in there, who is, knocking it out of the park every time she's on camera. So, all right. So, of course, the big movie coming out in theaters this weekend, the one that everyone is talking about. You can look for reactions on the Last Duel online, and you can, but a lot of it has been about Halloween Kills. The reactions to Halloween Kills so far have been very positive. Everyone is saying that it's good, that it's brutal, that it's a really good sequel, but at the same time, everyone is saying that the movie kind of feels incomplete. And I can see why, because obviously we do know that there is a third movie coming called Halloween Ends, and yeah, so I think we kind of had to expect that. Yeah, this is, we know when the movie was coming, this probably will feel incomplete. Some people say that it does feel incomplete. So we'll have to wait and see on that. I'll be the judge of that. We'll all be the judge of that when we all finally get to see it. So this movie is coming out in theaters, and it's also coming out on Peacock. I kind of saved that a little bit here at the end. I didn't forget. I just saved it. It is coming out on Peacock, which is a really big deal. We talked about it when the news came out here. It was a really big deal. And, Jason Blum kind of admitted that the reason why they decided to put it up on Peacock right away is because they were disappointed by the release of Freaky that came out last year. So I don't blame him for that. I think that's kind of a fair assessment to say. Freaky, those who haven't seen it, is the Vince Vaughn, Catherine Newton movie where they switch bodies, kind of a play on, Freaky Friday. But Halloween Kills, I'm excited for it. I got my tickets for it. I'm not gonna watch it on Peacock first. I'm gonna watch it on Peacock eventually. Probably the second time. I'm gonna watch it in the theater the first time because it's Michael Myers. It's Halloween. I love Halloween. I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to finally watch this because I watched the original Halloween last night because I wanted to watch it again, and I'm gonna watch the 2018 Halloween in preparation for this. So yeah, there you go. Halloween Kills, which will come out in theaters and Peacock, and The Last Duel are your movies that are coming out in theaters this weekend. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast this week. Very much appreciate it. You guys are awesome no matter where you're listening to this. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher, on Spotify, on YouTube, thank you very much. Wherever you're listening, if you can give a rating, subscribe, a like, a follow, whatever it is, it helps out the podcast in the long run, especially ratings. If you can give a rating and reviews, that'd be really cool. Like a 5-star. I'll even take a 4-star. If you give a 3-star rating, okay, as long as you leave a review and say the right 3 stars. If you give it anything less than 3 stars, I'm just gonna assume that you're a hater. But whatever. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast this week. Continue to be safe. Continue to be good people, and just overall be a good person. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to be a good person. It really isn't. So thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast, for joining in on the fun. Make sure to check out all the links down below in the description/show notes areas, trailers, links to social media for the podcast and for me personally. If you want to follow me personally, they're all down there if you want to go check those out. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast this week. Very much appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week. And remember, as always, go watch some movies.
Whoop whoop! Yeah! Give it up! Movies!